Chapter 948 of One Piece is out, and it looks like the second act of Wano might actually be going on for a little bit longer than we all anticipated. Things in the prison seem to be a little bit more complex than expected after all. But let's start from the beginning. Before we dive into the chapter, we finally seem to get a new cover story. The new one seems to will be featuring the escape of Betch and his crew from Whole Cake Island and how their journey continues from there. We can see them sailing on one of the tart ships in which they smuggled themselves out of the country. Having worked together with the Straw Hats in such a dire situation and managing to get away from the grasp of a Yonko alive and well, I think we can be sure to see Betch again in the story sooner or later. Will this cover story maybe even lead him to Wano? I'm just very happy to get some real information and plot again after a long period of requests. But now let's get right into the new chapter. In the last chapter, due to some unexpected circumstances, the Udon prison mine is now left to Kaido's foot soldiers with no means of communicating what is going on to the outside. With Big Mom and Queen out of the picture, Luffy now has taken it upon himself to take over the prison by himself. And since the prison mines at this point are pretty much a training arc for Luffy, he of course wants to make use of this opportunity to use Kaido's men as practice for his newly discovered form of Haki. The obvious expectation here of course would be that Luffy single-handedly wipes the floor with Kaido's men. But Old Maid, the warden of the prison that was left in charge by Queen, seems to have at least some qualifications for his job as he doesn't lose his cool in this situation. Instead of panicking, he orders the other inmates to subdue Luffy themselves even after cheering for him all this time. Similar to us, Luffy doesn't understand at first why they would do such a thing if he was clearly getting the upper hand in the prison. But Luffy and also we have once again underestimated what it means to be in a Yonko's territory, because the inmates plunged themselves onto Luffy without a second thought. After they had felt a short glimmer of hope, it was extinguished right away again when they saw Yasuo's execution just moments ago. To a certain degree, Orochi's plan to make an example had worked, since all of them were reminded how their previous rebellion had been beaten down by Kaido and Orochi. Even under the prospect of escaping the prison, they dread getting involved with their wrath once again. I think this really speaks once again for the terror of the Yonko and the Shogun. After learning about the condition of the country, witnessing Yasuo's execution and seeing the truth behind the smile fruits, this is just another instance that shows us the true terror reigning in Wano. To underline this even further, while Luffy is clearly struggling with the situation he's in, being opposed by those he seeks to free, the Scorpion headliner Daifugu shoots one of the prisoners in the neck with an odd bullet. A weird bruise starts to grow along his body, and the other inmates who have rushed to his side quickly have to learn that wherever they had touched his body, they would also spread painful bruises that appear to burn away their bodies and slowly start to kill them. Daifugu explains to us that these bullets are one of Queen's creation, that we learn specializes in mechanical weapons and infectious diseases. I think that fits pretty well what we have seen from him so far. His epithet, the Plague, as well as his mechanical arm seem to suggest as much. When Luffy rightfully points out though that these bullets won't be able to harm him, we now understand why the warden had ordered the other prisoners to hold on to him. If they shot a single one of them, the disease would very quickly spread its way to Luffy and kill him as well. A pretty fucked up plan to be honest, but at the same time I love that headliners aren't simply dummies for Luffy, as he said himself at the beginning of the chapter, but rather have a brain and think about how they can actually turn the situation around. Before the situation can escalate any further though, we hear strange laughter from Kawamatsu's cell, and we know finally we'll get to see this guy's face in this chapter. Everyone's attention immediately shifts to the cell, including Kiku and Chopper, who has already transformed into his human form. It turns out that the warden knew the true identity of the prisoner all along, as he tells his men that this is Kawamatsu, one of the Red Nine scabbards, that they tried to execute by feeding him nothing but rotten fish for 13 years straight. Some of the beast pirates storm in to take his head, but Kawamatsu once again takes them out with some fish bones from his mouth. An instant later, Raizo breaks through the window of the executioner's tower and throws Kawamatsu's sword along with the keys to his handcuffs into the cell. Before we finally get to see his face though, we first get a taste of his abilities. It turns out that in accordance with his Kappa theme, Kawamatsu loves sumo wrestling. This is one of the characteristics of this mythical creature after all. Weirdly enough, Kawamatsu has managed to maintain his strength and weight over 13 years in order to be able to fight, which is weird. But what is even weirder is that he's actually a sword user and a samurai. Still, he uses moves from sumo with it. I'm not gonna lie though, I think this is awesome. Especially when we see him obliterate all of the beast pirates coming at him with ease. With the second attack, he finally comes flying out of his cell and we get to see him in full. Is he an otter mink? Is he a turtle mink? Or did he eat a devil fruit? I mean, Kawamatsu the Kappa can't just really be a kappa, can he? Yes, he can. Kawamatsu is a full-fledged, cute-looking kappa with webs between his fingers and a beak. His design looks simply amazing, with the big round straw hat, the long blonde hair and the samurai clothes. This character is basically made for merchandise, and I definitely want a poster of that panel. After throwing up the rotten fish that apparently he has held in for the past 13 years, which I'm not gonna even question at this point, he reunites with Raizo and Kiku. Old Mate, recognizing the danger of the situation, orders his men to prepare for battle, while Kiku makes the prisoners back away from Luffy. Then Hyogoro steps in, who is clearly familiar with all of them, and tells Raizo and Kiku to also reveal themselves to the prison. While Raizo takes off the sheet with which he has apparently successfully hidden his face all along, Kiku puts on an Oni mask. And then Kiku gets introduced as Kiku Nojo, the most beautiful swordsman in Wano Kuni. Kiku is a man. Well, at this point in Wano, I'm not even surprised anymore. Actually, there are just two things I have to say about this. First, those of you who thought it was Izu from Whitebeard's crew, it was not. But I'm very sure that they have a shared history together. So I'm curious to learn more about him, her, let's go with him. The second thing is, can we talk about how damn amazing this mask looks like? I mean, like, seriously, this looks so damn badass. I can't wait to see what Kiku's fighting style will actually look like. We also get the introductions of Raizo as the direct rival of Fukurokuju, the leader of Orochi's ninja squad, of Kawamatsu as Wano's strongest wrestler, as well as Hyogoro and Luffy. The only one left out here is Chopper, who seems clearly disgruntled by this. And at the end of the chapter we see Kiku getting serious, telling the warden that they all will have to be silenced. Goosebumps. So let's recap. What did we get in this chapter? We learned that the Beast Pirates are more than capable of coming up with a strategy against their enemies, which I think will be important going forward. We also learned about one of Queen's inventions for the first time, a plague bullet that spreads fatal disease over the body and is highly infectious. We finally get to see what Kawamatsu looks like and that he actually is a real kappa and the strongest sumo wrestler in the country. I love his design and honestly can't wait to see more of him. Finally, we also learned that Kiku is actually a man that seems to have some connection with Izu from Whitebeard's crew. While I was actually surprised by that, I think that the signs were there in the past. Also, I'm much more hyped to actually see him fight. That demon mask just looks so badass. Now, all in all guys, I think this was a good chapter that took a bit of tension from the story but was great to read nonetheless. I love that we got to finally meet Kawamatsu and the reveal about Kiku was fun as well. What irritated me a little was that the prison arc appears to be going on a little longer than expected now, but I will be the last person to complain about that, as you know. But now let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Did you enjoy this chapter, and what do you think about Kawamatsu and Kiku's reveal? If you liked this video, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to be notified for any future content of mine. Or dislike, don't share and unsubscribe. It's a free world, people. I hope to see you around next time, and until then, have a great week.